years. I think it's a really hot topic and a really important, one of the most important, I feel, for the truth movement and people wanting to know what to do. One of the things is I feel there's like a bad rap and like a lot of people know about the sovereign nation, but I feel like the media definitely with the whole cop stuff, they're teaching the cops to be afraid. I've talked about on the show when I've been pulled over and they ask me if I'm part of the sovereign nation just because I know my rights. So there's a fear that they're giving the cops and everybody. And
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Is this JM?
Yeah. First of all, how are you doing today?
Good.
Very good.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes.
You're welcome. We also want to welcome Jessie is joining us too, who has he has a lot more information on this than I. As I spoke to you, I'm very eager to learn because I know very little about this other than what Vinny here has explained to me, and certainly want to learn more. So
yeah, I was just getting into again, to the people listening. We brought on JM Godsent, who I think's amazing to listen to talk and has a lot of information on this. So we want people to know the truth about it and really, ask questions and find out the truth, not what the TV's saying and all the fear behind this. So that's basically what I had to say. And JM, why don't you maybe tell us exactly what being a sovereign is exactly, or just break it down a little bit for the listeners.
Yeah, I do this a lot. Being a sovereign. Yeah, that's interesting. You have to think about the roots of what it means, what the concept of being sovereign is. The concept of sovereignty comes from the idea of nobility, being noble. That means like honorable, as opposed to piracy. So it's diametrically opposed to piracy. It's the opposite of piracy. It's nobility. And to be a sovereign, one has to be actually in harmony and concordance with natural law. So if someone's doing something stupid that's not in harmony or concordance with natural law, then they're going to get checked one way or another. That's not my responsibility. That's Mother Nature's responsibility and Father Time's responsibility. That's just the nature of reality. This propaganda that's going out around the news channel or the media channels. This is being seeded for ulterior reasons, and it's a hot topic. They're making a hot topic out of it and with a negative slant because it is the solution. Yeah, the reality of it is we have an inheritance by being born in the, like, I don't want to say the word born because that's a misnomer, but by emerging on the land in North America, we have an inheritance of a natural, divine inheritance that is equal to the divinely ordained royalty, crowned heads of all the noble families. It's most likely, the reality of it is that almost everybody who's in America has some nobility in their blood, in their family.
Now, is this what the founding fathers set up for us, right? Like making us like the king of our own castle, trying to have...
Yeah, that's the common law. The founding fathers were opinionated Christians. Everybody was practicing Christianity back then. There wasn't like, little pockets of non-Christians hanging around kind of doing non-Christian stuff. They were actually all like, this goes back to the teachings of Lord Jesus Christ and the fall of the Roman Empire and how civilization actually was able to go forward and be successful. Without the noble factor, civilization would not have been preserved. Without the castle walls, the barbarians would have ate. They would have burnt up all the libraries. They would have destroyed all the fine arts, and they would have raped all the daughters. But the people that were the disciples of Christ were able to go into the castle walls because they had the balance with the law of nature by practicing the promise of the Prince of Peace. And so they had the power, the disciples of Christ had the power to anoint the remnants of the Roman civilization, the wealthy sector, to be able to and educate them because they maintained the literature, educate them and help them be able to be in harmony with natural law so that they could preserve civilization, and then so that the world would eventually become unified.
And this is why they call it God-given laws? Is this why they also the whole God-given laws, right? That no man can take it away?
Well, it's not so much God-given laws. They're natural laws that are in place, the dynamic function of the universe. There's natural laws that are in place that we can't violate without repercussions. Those aren't given. Those are in place. They're natural laws. Okay. But what is given to us is a divine inheritance that we can step up to inherit. Like children are wards of their parents and don't actually have control of their estate, right?
Yeah.
People are treated like wards because they're not in the know of stepping up to inheriting the divine inheritance, being noble, and being responsible for their estate. So the whole problem in society is that people don't honor the natural law. They want to violate the natural law, and so they become out of phase with it. They choose. They choose a impoverished lifestyle rather than becoming inheriting, like being educated.
But isn't it a lot more though than just being educated? Like, don't they? Well, doesn't the government have a lot of things in place though to really screw us? Like it's a lot.
When you talk about the word the government,
mm-hmm.
and you talk about all that. And most people don't understand what the structure is and how it works. They just think the government, this nebulous blob. There's a lot of structure, infrastructure to the way that government, the agencies work, and it's been standard. The safety of the people. The problem is that it's modeled after the channels of slavery, the commerce of human beings over the course of the development of these civilizations. Over these thousands of years, the civilizations have been developed. There's been a standardized way of trading people, just like you trade cows.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1965, the UCC was globally standardized for trade and commerce. And problem is that there's this public sector that everybody entered into that is where they are no longer belonging to God and God's family traditions. So they cut themselves off, and they belong themselves to the corporate body, the corpus body of the District of Columbia. They go belong themselves to the state. They marry themselves to the state. They give themselves to the state, and then they're serving a lower master than God Himself. So they lose their inheritance and become exploited by those who would be there to exploit them or to attempt to give them some kind of function. Well, because when a person is actually denying the reality of their creator and their origin, then they become confused and they lose their power. When they don't trust God, they lose their power and become wards of the state. So a sovereign is a person who trusts God.
There are a lot of people
who acts according.
Hold on.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are really green to this information, and they're not really familiar with it. So if maybe we can go over and explain.
Yeah, like what's the UCC?
Yeah, well, what the Corporation of the United States is, and
what's
the UCC. And
all right. Well, in order to, the Corporation of the United States is a management company that takes care of the commerce of the businesses in the that are subscribers. Okay, that's everything that is a piece of paper of a business of some sort that does commerce between states. That's its responsibility, and then it also is there to regulate all the business done that is in its jurisdiction, right? Mm-hmm. So all the business is done, paper transactions that have to do with money, Federal Reserve banknotes, are essentially traced back to the management company, the United States Inc., which you can look up on Dun & Bradstreet. There's a whole bunch of different registrations of States Inc. And they manage all this accounting of all this commerce that's done with their banknotes. They have to keep track of all that stuff in order to have a working economy. But it's borrowed out so far by corrupt people, have infiltrated it and tried to exploit the system. America's a really country and a really good system. It's an excellent system, but there's all these infiltrators that have gone inside the system and tried to figure out ways to use the system to manipulate masses of people. And they've created all these. They infiltrate agencies, and they try to use the whole agency to harvest people and money out and exploit them. And that's the problem. Is it's not America. It's these corrupt people that go inside these agencies and they infiltrate all the different mechanisms of the agency to figure out ways they can exploit the people that have accounts with them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the New World Order.
Beautiful country.
That's the corporation.
That's the New World Order. Right.
Yeah. Have infiltrated. The evil people have infiltrated the agencies and are trying to exploit actors. And it's the whole public educational system is not there to bring people out of the slave mill. They're there to help people contribute to society. People that have actually decided that they're not functioning in any society. They're orphans. United States citizens are orphans. They're no longer people of their land or of their state or of their families or of their church or of their God. They're orphans. United States citizens are orphans. You have a nation full of orphans that have disconnected themselves from God and put a higher master between them. Mm-hmm. But their inheritance is actually sovereignty. So the corporations there in place to regulate the commerce and to do the accounting for all the business that everybody's doing. And it's a pretty smooth system, except that there's all these infiltrators and the tree's being shaken right now. Actually, there's been a study and over the past 40 years of what's wrong with the American legal system and the judicial system and the legislative bodies. And we've found that with a fine-tooth comb, we could find out who's corrupt and scoop them out, right? And that's happening all the way across the country.
Yeah.
Every state right now, military's involved. The Secretary of the Treasury just got arrested. You know,
yeah.
We had news that Bill Gates, George Bush, and George Bush Sr. got arrested all because of this shuttling of the money and the credit of the American people. 153 bank executives bailed this last month. The world because the gauntlet is closing on these corrupt people that have staged this mass rape of the Earth's population.
Definitely.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and there is the awakening. There are things going on, but to stick with being a sovereign and what we're talking about, explain again. Like, what is the becoming sovereign? How does that get you out of this system that we're talking about? The system's obviously corrupt. How do we?
Okay, what it is in the public schools, right? If you were to actually honor ancient traditions, we'd take responsibility for educating our kids. But because people want more than they can afford, right? They go out and they work extra, and they don't take responsibility for educating their kids, and so they've turned the education over to a public system. Now, public means corporate, so they're going to put their kids in a corporate institution to train them how to identify as corporate agents.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids go into the corporate mill and the public mill, and they begin to identify themselves as corporate agents, not agents of God and family and America and of their state, of like their home state, their homeland. They become agents of this foreign corporate paper shuffle system, and then they get given a bubble test. And they look at the bubble test and they say, that's not my name, that's uppercase letters. And the teacher goes, oh, don't worry about that, that's just how the computers do it.
Maybe you could get into that,
Okay,
explain the uppercase letters.
Okay,
And,
then that's my name. Or they're going to say, hey, you know what, that's kind of fishy. I don't believe this is not the right thing.
JM, can you expand on that a little bit about the name, you know, about the capital,
man.
the straw man, straw man, capital name, capital letters?
Right, but the United States Government Manual for Styles and Writings, it defines what is proper for writing and writing styles, so that communications can be clear amongst these agencies. So they've defined the style in writing for things that are in uppercase, and things that are in uppercase are fictions, like not really living, but they're an idea that is drawn out and drafted on four corners of a piece of paper and chartered, right? That's a corporation,
Mm-hmm.
all right? Then there's an acronym, which is like an agency, like, you know, like the FBI or some kind of shit like that. Pardon my language, but it's that's my opinion there of what those guys, their professionalism.
Yeah.
With their representation of the, you know, my apologies, but, you know,
No, that's fine.
No apologies needed. I've said much worse on the air.
No, they're just not.
I'm trying to tone myself down, actually. But I've said much worse, JM. Just go on. This is great information. So yeah, so exactly, yeah. These so the straw man,
okay,
go into the straw man,
or a corpse, a dead person,
right.
Rest in peace, right?
Yes,
on a tombstone, case letters. Okay, so a corpse, a corporation, or an acronym, right? Not a living person. Okay, so what this is a fiction, and that fiction is the idea of a storefront, or a place to put the resources, to put the wealth of the estate. So it's a trust. The uppercase letter name is a trust. The corporation is a trust. All right, and that's a box. It's not a person. You don't put the gold coins in the person. You put the gold coins in the box. So the birth certificate is the box. You put the gold in. Right. So
Gotcha.
It's a different person. It's an artificial person. It's a box. You put the coins in. Whereas the owner of the box, or the beneficiary of that estate, is the one who actually gets the benefit of the wealth in the grand scheme of things. But it's a different person, okay? So if a person has been conditioned by the public institution to be void of their own personality and their connection with the personality of God, then they become the ward of the state, and it's clear that they don't have this connection. And so they become they become rats in the mill.
Now what about...
They're identifying themselves, they're thinking that they're just a box, they're not a soul. They're just a box, and the box is not property of God. The box is property of the state.
Now, does this start with like the birth certificate? I know you were saying about the UC.
It's the estate trust.
The what?
The birth certificate is the estate trust. It's the account your parents do to create to do business on behalf of the beneficiary of the estate trust. The box, the birth certificate box, is the estate trust, and the Social Security account is the account that the resources are worked out of.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that
the account. That's just a name. That's just a box and an account. That's not a person. Okay.
I've heard that you could
commerce. Those are under the commerce contract jurisdiction of the commerce laws of the United States Corporation. But there's a clause in the commerce laws of the United States Corporation that say that those laws do not apply to living beings.
So
they don't apply to the corporations and all of its agencies. The laws are not there to regulate living beings. They're only there to regulate the agents and the agencies.
To protect
That's how the Patriot Act can be used to shut down all the terror cops that are terrorizing our nation, is because those laws are there to regulate the cops, not the people. And the cops got it backwards, and the propaganda agencies are telling the cops to go out there and get it backwards. So we can shut them down now.
That's the point.
It's the Patriot Act, And with these terrorist acts and with all this stuff, this is there to shut down and regulate the corporations, not the people. And the people who are not corporations can step up and command the military right now to go and shut down all the terror cop shops. The arrangements have already been made. There's something that's happened in the background I want to tell you about, okay?
Yeah.
Beyond this sovereignty stuff, that the people of this nation have come together and formed several of the, if not all of them have happened, but at least 40 of the states have formed their own independent constitutions that are not inside the United States Corporation Constitution, and they have separately and jointly together brought them together in a national union and given notice to the world and the military. Is that's what the military has been waiting to recognize, the authority of the people, so they can get out of the jurisdiction of the corporations, and that's why all these arrests are happening right now.
Nice.
Yeah, while we're talking, it's amazing.
The sovereigns have been done already. Did that. The military done cleaning house right now for us, and that's why all the lawyers are paranoid and scared and trying to put on ABC TV and all everything they could possibly put, but they can't. They can't lie enough. They can't lie enough, and the more they lie, the more we shine as the nobility of America.
Wow.
Listen, JM, actually, Jesse had a question. Jesse, you wanted to raise a point before?
Yeah, I've heard that you can actually track back a number on the birth certificate to an account that's held in your name, and and look up what you're worth to the corporation. Is that correct?
What now? Okay, I'm sorry, I was speaking over you. It's your Social Security account, yes.
Yeah, and you go to a broker, right? And you
go to a broker?
I don't know nothing about that because I ain't a pagan. I don't teach. I don't teach stuff. What I do is I just know what I know, and I've learned, and I share it. And a bunch of people told me to put it in a book and make some other little books and kits and things to help people. So I did that. But no, I'm a pagan. I'm not interested in doing any business with the United States Corporation or any of its agencies or any of its agents.
I love it.
They're all foreign to me. I don't want to do foreign commerce. I have foreign immunity, and I don't want to do foreign commerce.
Well, that's
I'm not interested.
Okay. Well, that's good you bring this up.
I just my own nation right here, just me. And besides this little propaganda about the sovereign nation, I don't know what the means because. Which sovereign nation? The sovereign nation of America? That one? Is that the one they're talking about? The sovereign nation of America? Or which? Mine? My sovereign nation? Or my friend's sovereign nation? Or your sovereign nation? Which one of you king of your own castle? Is that really true? Or is that just Mr. Rogers' make-believe?
Well, I wanted to say, since you were talking, you make me, I have to bring in the... You're talking about money and how you don't want to, you don't do business with the pagans and the government. One of the questions is, how does that work? If you're not dealing with them, how is the economy or the money situation then for you and other sovereigns?
Well, you got to think, you got to realize, like it's up like this money thing with the banknotes. It's fiat. It's representational. It's a token gesture appreciation of a person's worth.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't know your worth, that you have poverty consciousness. If you don't know where your wealth comes from, then you have poverty consciousness, and you're depending on something else for your wealth. Your wealth comes from your own creativity and your own intellectual property. And this is where everybody gets duped. They get exploited and thinking and they separate themselves from their family, their nation, their society, and their God, and they lose control of their intellectual property. And then somebody, once they start giving their intellectual property, their mind and their thoughts over to somebody else, then somebody else is there manipulating their mind and they're stealing their intellectual property, and that person just ends up being a slave and not knowing anything and not knowing where their own self-esteem and their own self-worth comes from. It comes from their relationship with God and in faith and trust and what we're really made of, which is spiritual energy. And it's unlimited. Our creativity is unlimited. Our wealth is unlimited.
No, it's a great point.
That is true.
I agree with everything. It's just, trying
That's
to...
what the piece of paper is for. I don't have to do the business. The piece of paper does it. Don't you understand? The storefront does the business. I go home at night. I don't even work behind the register. I'm a sovereign. There's people that are happy to just take care of me because I've given them life. I've given them not life, but I've given them like a concept of freedom that is beyond the material conception of freedom. They have a spiritual connection. I don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm gonna go grub in the shrubs like everybody else for a couple bucks so I can have my whatevers. It's not worth it.
I agree with you. I know, if you don't mind me saying, you know, where you guys are in New York. Do you mind me saying the location?
Yeah, sure, man. I mean,
well,
hey.
You're up in Ithaca, and I have some family up in Utica, New York. And, you know,
yeah.
I was telling you, you know, I've seriously been for years, and a lot of people, we all talk about, you know, getting out of this whole rat race. And it's always, you know, in the back of my mind and a plan to do it like that. Not so much, you know, I never looked at it as like sovereign or not, maybe more just running into the woods to hide. But, you know, I think it's great what you're saying. You know, it's just, you know, again, there's just so much, people don't know enough about this. And you know, I just want you to be able to say everything you can to get people to do this.
Well,
I'm behind you.
It's engaging, and the fear comes from lack of faith. And if they just look at what the money says, it says, in God we trust. Okay? So if you just like, don't trust the money, trust in God, right? Like the reality of like, how did your eyeballs get here? All right? Like, let's not use this stupid atheistic argumentation and get that. How did your eyeballs get here? Oh, trust in God, right? Like, have you got, like in America, is it actually possible to go hungry? I mean, does God actually decide that there's somebody that doesn't actually have an allotment? Really? If they don't have an allotment, maybe it's because they're not willing to inherit it. You know, it really is a state of consciousness. And even if a person has a really bad situation, a bad karma, they're born into a bad situation. Like those situations cause people to have more faith than people who are born with all 10 fingers and 10 toes.
I agree.
In their mouth.
I agree. You're right.
Now, if the person with 10 fingers and 10 toes and a silver spoon in their mouth is given good instruction and good direction and given a good conscience, they'll be noble.
Yeah.
Right? But if they're not, then they won't be noble and they'll fall down and be out of harmony with the laws of nature. But, you know, then that's a whole different realm. That's not ours to check.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm on the same level.
I'm not trying to like be the preacher like, oh, you better this or you better that. I'm just saying like, look, people, if you're disconnected and you don't know what's going on, it might be for a reason. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the state is there for, is to regulate the orphans and the immigrants that don't know and love the land. See, the United States Corporation, United States citizenship is a holding tank. It's a decompression chamber for foreigners. And if people are still claiming United States citizenship, that means they haven't loved the land yet. They're not of the land. They're not of the land. They're not loyal, real, true, patriotic. The Patriot Act is there to shut down the terrorist agencies, the corporate agencies. Those laws don't apply to living people.
So what do you, if someone was to ask you, what would you classify yourself? Like you were saying again, born on this land, like, what's the technical term, I guess? Because you're saying, you know, don't say you're an American citizen. That's part of the corporation. What is the proper term?
Where do we come? Ships are born, right? They're birthed, but living beings emerge from their mother's womb. The soul is eternal, so you can't like begin or end. This shell, I mean, it's like you come into it, it grows, you know, we leave it. But we emerge. You're not born and we don't die. So that is the sham. The death is the sham. I mean, the body loses its vitality when the Lord chooses it gone. You know, but or spiritual in nature. That's what I've realized. So if you ask, that's all I can really say.
Okay.
As far as honesty goes, you know, we could still play the little word games, but it's not really necessary. It's better to like do a spiritual study. I know, like, okay, the word games. Get my book. Get my book, Title IV Flag, Says Your Swag, The Sovereign Citizen's Handbook. It's in 100 pages, the shortest synopsis on law you could possibly get. Everything's there, everything you need to know about what sovereignty really is and how to get your paperwork in order and how to deal with cops and judges and attorneys and point of contact. If the cops stop you for something, are you conditioned to just consider them your friend and give them your whole family's information, like as if they're just come on in and have some tea and go ahead and take the paintings too?
Well, that's good you bring up the cops. I know you have, I seen on YouTube, like Cop Watch you do and stuff. Can you want to talk about that a little? I find that real interesting.
No, it's like there's the day and age with the whole character assassinations and the whole racial and cultural profiling and like really trying to stamp out Generation X and just trying to do this like as if the American people were really that stupid and really gonna fall for it. This whole thing that they're doing. Oh my God! Enough. That's all I got to say. Well, ask the question again.
I was asking you about the cops. You do Cop Watch. I seen your videos. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's a good idea. With all of that, with all these guys as insane and as aggressive as they are, and as believing that stupid propaganda that it's okay for them to go out there and violate the Patriot Act. Mm-hmm. Thinking that the people that the Americans, like they're just so confused. The cops are so confused. They're so confused about what law is. They have no idea because they're just believing the liars.
So how do we educate the police officers about this?
Yes. Well, yeah. Who wants to do that? That's like $15,000 a question, man. It's my time. Okay, no real. It's not like if they want it to be my job, I have a fee. Mm-hmm. And so I present them with a point of contact card that is, the initial contract. First contract, first served. So that you put the contract first, the international law of the flag says that the person who presents the first contract is the owner of the jurisdiction of the matter.
So you're saying when the cop comes to you, okay. Yeah.
So then if they ask a question, they're bound by the contract, and then there you go. They're in commerce. They are bound by the UCC. The living people are not bound by the UCC. The living people are free to puzzle the cops all they want. They're making big mistakes right now. They're making big mistakes by believing the liars and not believing the law.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe you don't want to stay on this, but I feel like I have to because, again, a lot of people, there's the videos. A lot of people talk about, I've even seen, I think when you're on Russian television, they try to attack again, it's for people who don't want to pay their taxes or drive around without a license.
Yeah. So they try to say we're inside a piece of paper, okay? That's like, what's up with that? That's dumb. Mm-hmm. Okay, they try to say we're inside the four corners of the piece of paper that is the United States Chartered Corporation, which makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, that's the first thing that they do in manipulation. And you said there was another question about, not paying your taxes. Hey, you know what? I got something to say. All you people that owe taxes, pay taxes, okay? If your store owes taxes, pay your store's taxes. If we pay taxes every time we go grocery shopping. We pay our taxes if tax need to be paid. And if you don't, and if you're tax exempt, like here's if you want a write-off, give charity.
Yeah.
If you want to write your taxes for your store off, give charity. All right. And you know what? And if you're tax exempt, because you don't do commerce, because you don't want to push pencils and do pagan bullshit, pardon the language, but being honest, if you don't want to do that, then you don't even need the whole commerce side. It's not necessary.
Well, maybe you could explain the difference.
And everybody's going to eat.
JM.
Sleep and be warm at night.
Maybe you could explain the difference between maritime admiralty law and civil law. Right.
That's a good question. This is Constitution. That's how we know what's going on here. Okay. The laws have been tested on this planet over time, and this Constitution is really, really cool. Okay. But you got to understand, right now, there's the corporate constitution exists only to regulate the corporations and its agencies. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's maritime law. Okay, the Constitution recognizes in Article 1, Section 3, Article 3, Section 2. You know that stuff. I just had enough. The Constitution recognizes the common law and civil realms of interaction between people. And so that it as a business can acknowledge the doings of the people at law and in civil law. And over time, they'd used the commercial buildings and the commercial agencies to set up courts to resolve things of matters of at law and civil contract law, right? So like, here's the, like, contracts between people are there for a reason, so that both ends of the agreement are made. And if there's a breach of contract, then that can't be arrestable. Like driver's license stuff, driving without a license, that's not arrestable. That's suable. So one person has to file an action against the other person, and they've used the birth certificate as the storefront to do it. So one birth certificate sues another birth certificate, and they go to small claims court because the guy didn't pay the rent, and then the guy gets a judgment. It's his store, and then his store gets liened for you know, the amount, and so on and so forth, right? So that's how civil was set up. But then the at-law side, the common law side, it doesn't have to do with contracts. It has to do with our contract with God, or with Lord Joshua, or our contract with the pagan masters that the pagans serve. Right? It has to do with the contracts between the self and the higher master, not between the self, not horizontal contracts between people, but the contract between the self and the higher master. And that's common law, which means that natural law says you can't hurt people. You can't injure them or break their bones or body, or oppress them or enslave them. Okay, these are common law crimes, and that's what the cops are doing. They're trying to use commercial law and commercial courts to get common law crimes on the people, and that's what's being stopped right now by the movement, the patriot movement, and the noble sector of America.
And it's unconstitutional as far as I know about it. Maybe you know about and can explain Title III courts, and how right now the court system we have in this country is unconstitutional.
It's administrative courts. They're administrative courts. You got to understand, right? They're all UCC courts. It's all commercial law, right? And yes, they're unconstitutional because they're grabbing people and dragging them into the courts as if it was legal to do that, and it's not legal to do that. They're using this consent clauses where where it's understood that if you have an estate trust, a birth certificate, that if you do not say that there's a living person involved, then they don't even acknowledge that there's a living person involved. They just say that it's 100% under the jurisdiction of the court and the UCC, which means essentially when there's not a living person involved, you're like a dead person and your estate's in probate.
If the courts are unconstitutional, I mean, technically we don't have to go and we're summoned, because they don't have jurisdiction over us. So why should why should we go to a court that's unconstitutional?
You need to let them know about that you're aware of their chain of command, and that the chain of command has to be on notice. Otherwise, they will continue to move forward and still try to use the cops and the NCIC and you know, all that against you.
Wow.
So it has to do with their higher ups and noticing their higher ups that there's fraud and conspiracy involved here.
And it's really
that's what our training program. That's what our training programs and our network helps people with, is understanding how all this works, and being able to have, you know, some counsel to be shown how to do this. We have courses, and we have memberships in our network so that you actually have some support. You're not going to you're not tackling the beast on your own.
Yeah, I wanted to let's get into a little bit with your site. We have it on the Informed Radio, and you know, this is amazing. You know, to me, I find it so interesting, and you have a lot of knowledge, and you know, this isn't something you're going to learn in one day. So you know, tell us a little bit about, you know, if we what type of help you give, your books and everything.
Well, we have a publishing company that's publishing my stuff, and I'm not it's not just me anymore. I wrote the title for Flag Censorship Swag, the Sovereign Citizens Handbook, and published it. And it's basically it's standard, like it's the standards for what works. And that's why they're trying to say, oh, don't get that book, don't be afraid of being a sovereign.
Yeah.
So we made the book that let the cat out of the bag. I did, and published it, and then you know, I met a lot of friends that wanted to like help me and get involved, and so now we have the Sovereignty Press team, and we're publishing, and we've made a workbook to go with it called the Sovereign Citizen Cutout Kit of the Journalist Expansion Pack for Sovereignty Press journalists. People want to do the cop watching.
Yeah.
You know, we have a freelance agreement in there. And we train them on how to do the cop watch videos and stuff like that. Set up a local cop watch. There's that expansion kit. There's and we have a Blizzard of paperwork disk that's about 600 megabytes of reference materials and paperwork for filing for your cases. If you at any stage of the game, if you're being attacked for breach of contract and you've been violated or damaged or hurt, or you feel that you got a claim or a case, you do, because they're all committing fraud. If you didn't hurt somebody, they can't touch you, and you have the right to file some paperwork to make the case go away, right? But knowing how to do it, it's taken me 22 years to get it perfected, and I had to publish to really make it concise. So now we have these things that we know how it works, and so we're helping people. We have that. We have Sovereign Family Network. It's a network project, but it's coming into fruition in the form of Sovereign Family Network that has a whole bunch of nodes together. We have the sovereigncitizenship.net site. It's sovereign-citizenship.net site that you can go to and you can learn from. You can find out about our membership program, so that you can have some support. Mentorship is something that I should mention here. It's a tradition of handing information down from elders to youngers, and this is what those guys, right? Whoever those guys are, we know who they are. They know who they are, right? Those guys don't want mentorship. They don't want anybody to seek the advice of the elders or passing on tradition. This is how America is being maintained. Mm-hmm. And it's being maintained.
Yeah, well, they've done it for 1,000
years. We're passing on the tradition of what knowledge of the law is, and what our divine inheritance of sovereignty is, what our fathers established in the eyes of the world a long time ago.
Yeah, and everybody listening, you can go to the Informed, right on the website. We have links to all your sites there, JM, right on informedradio.com, just so you know. And again, that's just amazing information that we're going to be getting. Hopefully, people will jump in there and go through these courses and decide which one's right for them to check out. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have more information than we have so much information coming at us. We're working constantly here at the offices here to get this information organized in a way that people can receive it. Because it's just we're being bombarded by high level information, by middle range stuff, and all the learning, most of the training and learning stuff. We've amassed a huge reference archive of resources to share with our visitors to our sites and everyone. You know, it's like just come on down and share some resources. We can make our sites like little puzzles. You got to kind of solve them and have some fun. Follow the breadcrumbs, have some fun. See how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It goes very deep.
Yeah, I was telling you, me and my girlfriend, for people listening, I'm going to be joining and buying the book. I think it's amazing. Like you said, you've been doing it for 22 years. An hour, 2-hour interview isn't going to be enough. You really got to get the book, so I'm going to get them. And you really make it seem like, you know, when someone joins, you basically will walk them through. Isn't that right? Like anything,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
family.
a family.
Like if you're American, you're family. You're one of us. You're one of our people, man. And we got to take care of you, you know? And nobody else is. I don't know who take care of you. If you can go there and, like, you know, keep trying to milk Uncle Sam, man, but they're on you. You know, they're like, you know, hey, you know what, dude, you want something from them? They're gonna say, okay, what you got for me? You know?
Yeah.
And it's not really like that, you know. It's not like that line that they're trying to feed everybody. It's like really like peace and love, people. Like that's really what it's about. Like we're family. This is the American family.
And the non-violent way, like you say, and that's why it's so important to me. You know, a lot of people are all getting ready, and like I said, I'm even ready to just run into the woods, but this is the non-violent way.
I've never owned
a firearm
in my life. I can't stand them. I don't like. I can't stand the concept of violence. I'm a vegetarian. Violence is just not happening. It's just the wrong way to deal with anything. I deal with things through prayer and faith and trust in God. And it seems to work really, really good, and I highly recommend it to everybody. All those militia guys out there, you know, if you're listening, I highly recommend, you know, it's good to be trained or whatever's blah, 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 but I highly recommend, you know, just let's not be hasty or you know, like that's not, that I don't believe that's the answer, you know, like, it don't, you know, like, violence is not the answer, you know.
That's why this is so important.
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah,
I believe
absolutely.
in the what our literary giants have penned for us previously. You know, immortal words are immortal. That is the motto of Sovereignty Press. Is pen is mightier than the sword.
Well, again, you know, I think the idea that the way that the establishment or the order has demonized, you know, sovereigns to being this way, and again, the propaganda against it, it's just an assault, because they're doing exactly that. They're saying that you guys are the threat, whereas you guys are the solution. And what are you asking? You're talking about peace and having unity and community and working together to help each other, instead of offshore banks stealing all our money.
Dig kids, everybody, yo, dogs, the lawyers are okay, and they're gonna lie. They're liars. They're Agent Smith, all of them.
FBI and the CIA, the cocaine importing agency.
They're all Agent Smith. You know?
Wow.
They're all liars. There's not anything you can believe, because they're lying to everybody. They're lying right on their website. They're lying.
Yes.
You know, that there's more cops that kill people on a daily basis. More cops kill people on a daily basis than sovereigns.
Well, I only seen that one case.
So I don't think there's any. You never even hear about sovereigns killing anybody, except for maybe something happened like 10 years ago, or God knows when, that they're trying to rake some muck out of it that doesn't exist. It isn't. They're, you know, all the sovereigns I know are musicians and peaceful, and go to, like, you know, music festivals in the summer, and you know, we're about peace and love, and, you know, the flower power.
No, you're right, but if you didn't know that CBS and the mainstream was, like, just a couple months ago.
Yep.
You know, if you don't know.
60 Minutes.
Yeah, 60 Minutes actually did a whole thing, because there was, again, I know he's not connected to you, but there was a guy who, you know, was claiming to be a sovereign, him and his son, and they ended up getting into a shootout with a cop. And they killed...
It doesn't sound to me like they really were living a noble
No, they
lifestyle.
weren't. That's what I was going to say. This guy was crazy, and he was, you know, he was looking for it. And
how many crazy cops? I mean, one's like, okay, like, look in the news, you know, today, and see which cop today killed somebody, and then back it up to yesterday and see which cop yesterday killed somebody, then back it up the next day and see which 3 cops killed somebody. And then back it up the day before that, see how many cops killed somebody, and see who's on the violence rampage in our nation here, and let's just really put it in proportion.
Well, I think we're doing that right now. I mean, again, the way you talk, it's all peace, it's love, it's not killing police or violently overthrowing the government. It's peace and the smart way, like you said, you know.
Yeah, and through this movement, we can have, you know, a peaceful revolution by taking the power back through legal means instead of having to use, you know, bullets, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is our last chance, really, to take it back.
It is true. They're clamping down like never before. I mean, all the laws against food. I mean, you got laws that regulating food in times of emergency. You've got FEMA camps being put together. You've got deploying of posse comitatus has just been eroded. You're going to have all of these things.
They say all that. I mean, they say all that, but you got to understand that these things are being put in place for a higher purpose. They're not,
of course.
You know, it's the laws apply to corporations and the corporate agents, so they're the ones that are going to end up getting cleaned up and put in there.
Yeah. Well, JM,
they don't realize that the people that are going to get cleaned up and put in those camps are the people that are the agents.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But again, it's the same thing. It's the propaganda. It's the mind control because they're demonizing the sovereigns. Meanwhile, look at the evil that they're planning to do for us.
This is really good for my book sales.
But it's true.
It brings attention because the first thing people are going to do is they're going to go to Google and they're going to look for sovereign citizen and they're going to see these. You're going to see my pages right in the middle of all this bullshit, and they're going to see that my pages tell the truth.
That's right.
And they're going to see that the other people are full of shit. So never mind. You know, I'm not even worried about it because like it's a capsizing ship. You know, it's like this is the last ditch of like saying, "Oh, we're still winning. We're going," and they're sinking in water, and they're like, "No, we still have one more cannonball to load in our imaginary cannon." God, people, you know,
Well,
it's really foolish the way that they've done this because like it's obvious that most of their efforts right now are targeted against people going to my website or like trying to make people afraid of going to my website. And they don't even realize that this is like, it actually does the opposite effect. It causes people to go to my website. It causes people to look deeper and look deeper for the truth. It causes more people to go get involved, shutting down the courts and suing the lawyers.
yeah.
Exactly. Use the system against them because that's what they're doing. I mean, they're attacking us. We got to attack them back. Taking
They thought that they were going to get everybody to behave as if they're employed by the corporation and that they're corporation agents. This is U.S. citizens now, right? Are you a U.S. citizen? Okay, well, then that means you're a corporation agent. You work for us.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's what they told the kids in the public school, but I didn't go to public school, so no, I'm not a U.S. citizen. So there. Now what you going to do? Nothing, because that's all they can. You're not a United States citizen, you have foreign immunity. So just like get off of the District of Columbia and get on the land with the rest of us.
Because it's only a 10-mile radius, right, of the District of Columbia?
That's right, and everybody's in there. That's funny. The whole nation is in 10 miles.
It's a port of entry for immigrants and a regulation agency for companies doing commerce. So get out of being involved with them and their agencies altogether, because you know, there's the other side of it that is learning and knowing how to manipulate your trust and do business at a distance, remote control through your storefront to actually pay for things. But that takes mentorship.
Yeah.
To know how to be responsible for your birth certificate account and actually start earning and filling that birth certificate account with treasures.
Well, I told you this personally, and I hope you don't mind me asking you. I mean, I'm going to get the book, like I said, and I got a lot to learn. But just one more question. I told you how I'm actually going to be having a child in September. And the birth certificate. I mean, shouldn't I just... The best thing is to say no, right? Like, I don't want a birth certificate or nothing?
Say no. You can just say no to play it safe.
Uh-huh.
Right? Just say, not right now. I'm tired from the birth. It took a lot out of us. We haven't decided what the baby's name is. I say this. This is what I say in my book.
Okay, good. Thank you.
This, right? And then, you know, they give you the paperwork. You go home. You throw it in the trash can. Okay? Then you put a sovereign baby. Okay? But then that sovereign baby actually can't tap into their account,
the system,
into their state trust to do business like all the other babies when they grow up. So there's you could say no, and you could get one later when you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Or you could get on a training now and then. I mean, you can work with me. You give me a call, or you can email me or whatever, and I'll tell you what you need to do. It's just a couple steps so you know what to do, so that if you do want to get an account for your inheritance and start doing business on behalf of your baby, but not in her name or his name, then show you how to do that so that the birth certificate doesn't incriminate the offspring and the family.
Yeah. Great. I mean, this is, yeah, I'm going to be, like I said, talking to you a lot, and you know, I'm glad that I got in touch with you.
Yeah, come to our website. Now, here's another thing I want to mention. We just set up a newspaper to make the announcements of all the really the important stuff that's happening in the background in the world events, like the Timothy Geithner arrest and all the bankers that have bailed out. Like, we get these inside scoops.
Yeah, great topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go to sovereignty-press.net, right? Sovereignty-press, with a hyphen, .net, for the news, and sign up for our newsletter. And that way you get it breaking news as soon as we find out about it anyhow. I mean, I don't know why that happens, but we find out about it. People send us the news, and we'll repost the articles on the Sovereignty Press newspaper, and sign up for the news so that you get it in your box.
Excellent.
Definitely.
How long does this process take of actually, you know, becoming UCC and removing yourself from the system?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, like, the process itself. It's whatever it takes for you to, like, unscramble your way of thinking, and actually realize, you know, come to balance with your with natural spirit. It could take a long time for some people that are really conditioned and that are just driving for the machine. And then some people that are ready to disengage, they get it, and then it's a state of consciousness more so than a paper process. But the paper defines the state of consciousness that we attain to the world, so the world can step off. We reassign the authority of the whole reality over. We take the authority away from the corporation, and we put it back in the hands of the divine order.
And again, this is interesting because, you know, I was just thinking about this because we're talking about America, you know, we're talking about the United States, but technically this...
That's two different things. Whoa, back up. Okay, that's two different things. You said America and the United States.
Yeah, I know, they are two different things, that's right.
So which one are you
well,
talking about?
The corporation is the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, would this be also, since we do have listeners that are like, I'm just noticing, you know, in Europe and in... South America and Africa, Australia, Japan.
UCC's world standard, it works the same way.
It works the same way. So this is actually really important, critical information to get out to the world, to all our listeners, not because we just seem to be talking about America.
Our network is huge. People use our stuff in Australia, in Canada, in Ireland,
That's
in
wonderful.
England.
That's good to know.
It's all over the place.
That's excellent. All right. Just wanted to mention that because I didn't even know. Again, I told you, as I said to you the other day, I just learning about this, and so it's a uniform, like you said, it's a standardized world thing that they're putting. World corporation.
Yeah, it's to make it so that anybody can do trade with any company, can do trade with any company anywhere else in the world and not get ripped off.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just for good business. It's a great model. It's just when it's used against living people to exploit them, that's wrong.
It's collectivism.
Yeah, it was created by the British when they were doing all their trade with their boats everywhere. Is when it was really created. Right. Yeah, and then
it's a way to make a paper representation of something that's actually held in trust, so that they can move the paper in one direction, right? Like you send the paper through the heavenly pirate-laden waters, and then you send the treasure chest like over through like safe waters, and the paper gets there faster, but the pirates don't know what to do with a piece of paper. It's too stupid to read it.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know, so that's what we got to do. We got to be the sovereigns. We got to hide our stuff in paper. We got to say, no, that's just a piece of paper, man. That ain't me. That's not gold in there, man. It's just a piece of paper.
Wow, it's great, man.
So how do we build a critical mass of people? Because I mean, a lot of people are sitting around asking questions like, "What can I do?" This is something that people can do. So
I'm telling you, trust me. The way to do a critical mass is go to our site, sign up for our newsletter, and you guys tell all your friends to go to our site, sign up for our newsletter, because this is the network news. This is the sovereign network news, people. This is how we're going to get the critical mass. It's just you got to put them all together, put everybody together so they'll get the news at the same time. Yeah. So we all are functioning as one sovereign network.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's right here on informedradio.com's website. It's there. It's linked there permanently, and it's just again, we spread the news, everybody across the world. Everybody, listen. This is the only way we can do this, because how else can we live under this? You know, the New World Order is really coming down hard, and they're going to demonize. They're demonizing the Truth movement. They demonize 9/11. The
thing about it is you got to realize is their power is being taken away right now.
Right.
By the forces of goodness in this world. That the internet and the dawn of the communications age and all these computers and satellites is that these tracking systems have backfired on the elitists, and they can't hide the stolen money anymore.
That's right.
So they're being shown, they're being exposed, and whoever's out there committing crimes, we're gonna go get them. There's a lot of people in this network. It's not a few people in this network, and it's not like little pockets all over the place, right? Everybody's in on it, and every town has got somebody that's going to go and find out who the corrupt public officials are. It's done. It's too widespread at this point. Get my book, learn how to do this. Learn how to, in your town, find out who's actually infiltrated your good government town, your good town, and who's doing corrupt things with your laws. That's the problem. The problem isn't the sovereigns.
Yeah, the sovereigns, of course.
Nobility, and the real problem is with the liars who've gone in and infiltrated the system and are manipulating the employees. Mm-hmm. Right? The employees are being manipulated by the liars, and they're not actually aware of the laws that they're supposed to be following. So the liars are telling them that they can break these laws because they're saying that the laws are about the people. But they're really not about the people. They're about the people that are behind the desks. So it's a real cruel joke the lawyers are playing on all the government agents. It's a real cruel joke that Agent Smith is playing on all the machines.
The Matrix. Yeah.
Hmm?
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that you can actually...
Public servants out there, you beware those lawyers because they're manipulating you to break the laws.
Right, yeah, because they work lawyers for the courts.
You don't work for the lawyers, you work for the people, and beware that those lawyers are there to try to manipulate you to break the laws against the people, just because the people are ignorant. But ignorance is no excuse of the law. You and public servants, if those lawyers are violating your oath of the Constitution, you are committing crimes. So don't do what the lawyers tell you to do. You do what the people tell you to do, because you work for the people, not the British Accredited Royalty Bar, British Accredited Royalty Association.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Because we're the real royalty, not the Bar Association, the British Accredited Royalty. We're the American royalty.
Wow. When was the last time you had to deal with the system? When was your last encounter?
Let's see. We were at a further show this summer, dancing my pants off, and I got into 5 further shows this summer. Great, Unbroken Chain. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, it's just the best. And after the show, I was in a really, really good mood, right? And we were singing. We were singing after the show. We were at the van waiting for our friends to get back to the van because friends in the parking lot, you know. And this pack of cops, like a pack of dogs, coming through the parking lot. There's thousands of people flowing out of the show, and they're telling everybody to like get in their vans and leave. And we're like, well, we're singing and we're waiting for our friends, and they just decided they wanted to attack the Sovereign Cop Watch crew. So one of them chased me down and broke my arm.
Wow.
And threw me in the cuffs into the Canandaigua Buchanan Bed and Breakfast
Wow.
for I had a vacation this summer. Then they found out who I was, and they decided that they wanted to get rid of me.
Yeah, they must be afraid to deal with you, you know? I would imagine
Well,
that they don't want to mess with
it's
you.
confusing, right? And they don't know what, because they list the Southern Poverty Law Center is putting out these reports or something. Some agency, their lawyers guild, something is putting out this propaganda report, and it makes them sound so stupid. You public servants, when you say sovereign nation, you sound like an idiot. When you say the same thing that every other cop in the country says, you sound like a moron. That report that comes over your desk, that comes from whatever agency, that says something about blah, sovereign nation, blah, 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 like, you know, it's the same old blah, blah, blah. We hear it out of every lawyer's mouth, from Massachusetts to New York to California. It's the same line of crap. So you all sound like robot, automaton, machines that don't use their intelligence at all. And then what happens is that every district attorney across the country says the same line of garbage out there.
You're breaking up a little there, JM.
Line of garbage out their mouth. They say this dribble out their mouth to try and scare the person who's been arrested and to slant the record.
To give up your jurisdiction, right? Most people just get scared, give up the jurisdiction right away.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, can you explain that about the jurisdiction? You know, go into that.
Well, I mean, you got to understand, if you're taking the position of a piece of paper and you're claiming to be the name that they're calling you, which is printed in all uppercase letters on the docket of the court, right?
No rights.
The record is going to reflect that the piece of paper said, yeah, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. The piece of paper said I'm present. That's how they get jurisdiction. When they call the name on the docket of the court, you're supposed to say, oh, well, restricted appearance for the correction of the name. You've got an estate trust on the docket of the court. Clerk, change you got to strike that from the docket of the court, because an estate trust can't appear here. As I said, the estate can't appear here.
Wow.
And as agent of the court, the administrator of that account, they can't have that plagiarism. It's a plagiarism. It's copyright infringement on the docket of the court. They can't reproduce the intellectual property, the estate name, in commerce. Wow. So you come at them like, what are you doing printing my intellectual property on the record of your court? I charged you $15,000 per question at the point of contact, and I expect to get paid now.
Oh man!
I'm not doing commerce with you unless you're shelling out the dough.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. I see the people when they're in court and they go. I see some people that go, I claim common law jurisdiction. They say, I do not consent and I waive the benefits. Is that the right thing, or is that...
That'll work.
Okay.
That's put them on some notice. I mean, I have my spiel. Everybody's got their tailored spiel that works for their mental and their psychological understanding of who they work for.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know? It's like, if I don't work for the state, then the state don't tell me what to do.
Well, JM, I'm going to be ordering your book tomorrow. I can't wait to read it. I really can't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that would be great. I would appreciate the
well, you deserve it for all the work you're doing.
The orders that come in, they all go to charity and to support the Sovereign Family Network.
Yeah.
So we have charities that take care of homeless mothers and children. We have, you know, it all gets dispersed. So you know, go ahead and give tithes, support this network. This is how this has come about. I've been able to give this way just because I was able to publish. So I just want to share. If everybody just give a little tithe, give it, you know, to the right direction, then you're gonna get reeled home. You can come on home with us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have?
I appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, it was incredibly informative. My goodness. Definitely opened your eyes to how you can handle this corrupt government and like fight back at them, because that's what we try to do here.
It's not about fighting back, man. It's about like basically educating them and putting them in their place and letting them know that you're nobody's fool and you're not their little cow. You're not their little property.
Right.
You're not the little. Who works for who here anyway?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And establishing, you know, the position of being the executive of the, like, you know, the beneficiary of the estate and of the account, so that you get the real benefits of your own inheritance of your international estate trust. It's international, so you have international foreign immunity. I mean, come on, people.
Wow, it's so much information.
Yeah.
This is why all those elitists are immune. All those guys, they're sovereign.
Yeah, you're right.
They haven't decided that they wanted to you know, make a career of publishing. Well, you know, I mean, you know, all those other guys, they made careers of publishing one way or another. They just didn't let the secret out because they paid for their education.
Yeah.
They went into debt for their education. This is why they don't tell us. That's why they don't. I don't want to say us. I said us that didn't go. No, I mean, you know, I come from an educated family. I had to get a superior kind of education that wasn't affordable in one of the institutions.
Wow.
Hey. JM, can you go into, do you know anything about the accepted for value? Like if you want to pay a bill, you can actually tap into your IRS account.
I met with Gordon and he explained that to me, and his language was so trippy. Pardon my language. But
so you don't think that's for real then?
To go, I conditionally accept your offer on proof of claim that the United States is in the subject of the jurisdiction of the Constitution, whatever it is. That conditional acceptance, I believe in it. I think it's great, and I think it works, but I think that's one way, yeah. But that's kind of almost playing the commerce game. So, well, I accept your offer.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because there are people, I mean, most people probably don't know what that is, the accepted for value. That's when you, if you have a bill that you want to pay, you can actually write accepted for value and write your name on it and send it to the utility company.
That's if you want to take it out of your Treasury Direct account, but people don't know how to open these, and it's a complex matter.
Right.
This is paganism. So, it's like there's more trouble than it's worth. If you want to just be honest and be business of the beast. Let's go with like now it could be a divine inheritance of like unlimited resources and never having to do like the Fed, if the Fed gets audited.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We try to get them audited. That's what we keep doing. Keep pushing.
Anyway, I'm not even worried about it. You have so much wealth at your disposal, your own creativity and ideas, and go there to tap into that. Okay, so that's what they accept it. Right, and pay it out of there. Okay, that's one thing we're doing. Then I conditionally accept your offer upon the proof of claim, and that way it's just like, oh, I hit the ball back into your court, into your side of your court. Now he's got to come up with the proof of claim and an original charging.
Wow.
You know, but that's their language and their lingo and all that stuff. We just go like, well, I'm sovereign. Here's my family tree. Here's my declaration. Here's my affidavits, and da 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 da. And I will see you in federal court. You gotta drop it.
Wow. Obviously, for the people listening, I mean, hearing him talk, you know, we don't know as much as him, but that's why you're gonna have to get this book and really, you know, we want to be able to talk like you. I mean, you know, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but that's why you gotta get this stuff.
I break it down real easy in the book. It's an easy read. It's entertaining. As entertaining as possible. Law is really dry and boring and come through the United States Code with a fine comb over 20 years. It's like you got to find the humor in it, bring the humor out in ratings while giving you the real substance of what sovereignty and the common law and noble interaction with the public sector is about.
So how do we take these courts back, because they've been proven to be unconstitutional? They don't follow Article 3 like they're supposed to. So how do we attack them?
We want you in. We want you in the network. We want you in these groups that are working on this. We have this going on. It's good. It's good. It's good. We have groups that lead it. We have groups that are together in the background working on this, and we need you because you're somewhere in the country.
Right.
want you to come in and be a part of these groups that are taking control of their environments, wherever they are, with standardized information about how it really works.
Because as far as I know, Hawaii is the only state that actually has constitutional courts under Article 3. It's only one state out of 50 states is constitutional as far as the court system goes.
Any judge can turn their court constitutional.
Really?
I've seen it done. I've gotten it done. It's really nice when the judge decides they're going to rule constitutionally because they don't want to violate their oath. But you gotta get them to reaffirm their oath and to stand on their oath to uphold the Constitution. And if they break that oath, they're a criminal and they need to be brought to justice.
That's when you yell, take them down, bailiff.
That's why organizations like Oath Keepers
employment
so
said
key.
that they can't turn the courts constitutional, but I've seen it. But it was back in the day.
Yeah. Wow.
Now it's all administrative and everything's in probate, so you got to get that unscrewed, man. I mean, we got books on this. I've got a series of books that show you how to take the different layers of your engagement with the system and either disengage or use them to your advantage.
Right. Most people, I mean, when they're approached with this information, I mean, you start talking about law, people start, yawning and their head starts to spin, basically. So I think what you're doing is very important to try to, unwind this for everybody.
Well, we call it edutainment. People learn through their entertainment. Yeah.
Hey,
they learn through entertainment. They learn through what interests them. So we're trying to find what's interesting in all this, and bring it to the forefront so that they have something that's flavorful.
Yeah.
They have a tasteful experience with this.
This is entertaining to me. I don't know. I'm loving it.
But, have you ever heard of a Title IV flag, or the civil flag?
Well, that's them, actually, Title IV flag.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I explain what that's about in my book.
Okay, well maybe you could explain it for the audience.
Talk about how all these things are relevant to our interaction with the public sector. We got to give them something that they can recognize.
Well, maybe you could explain that, how the gold tassel, like in the courtroom, you go into the courtroom, and they've got the yellow fringe around the flag, and that's to represent maritime admiralty, and again with that gold tassel. So it's not actually a Title IV flag; it's a disgrace to our flag, actually, to change it and alter it.
Title IV, Chapter 1, Section 3 of the United States Code, it says that the Secretary of Defense can change the flag. Did you catch that?
Yeah. But that would fall
only
under
the Secretary of Defense can change the flag.
The corporation.
All right, and so what that does is that makes it a military flag.
That's insane.
Under Army Regulations 840-10, that military flag is a flag of court-martial or parade flag.
That's insane.
So the Greyhound Station is a court-martial, like your public library is a court-martial.
Wow.
And if you step out of line at the public
it's okay to let it hit the ground.
probably hit you.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But you have heard of the Title IV, the civil flag, where it's got vertical stripes as opposed to the horizontal stripes, and the vertical stripes are supposed to be civil as opposed to maritime law. Yeah,
that's the way that the people have been using lately to notice the courts that they're not in the commercial jurisdiction.
Right, which I guess it originally stemmed from the Sons of Liberty, were the first to start that little protest, I believe.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more people, waving around civil flags, because it's a great protest to get people. Hey, what's that? People start asking me questions.
Citizens Cutout Kit. It has I think 75 flags and banners and notices in it.
Wow.
And if you get the kit, you can cut them out with all different sizes of the civil flag, the Title IV flag, and the flags, the early American flags, and they all have the case law on the back. The flags that support our liberty, and so it's all set up with all those little placards and flags and stuff displayed.
And you go into how to make your identification for if you get pulled over. We show you how to make a license and the plates and everything.
We provide that as a service for our members. That if they want to get an ID with one of our networks, They get one of our network IDs. If they want to get be a freelance journalist, we'll make them their Sovereignty Press journalist ID. So that point of contact device is the government issued ID, because that's their clincher, the government issued ID.
Right.
That's the contract.
Right. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, JM, to me, again, very entertaining show. So much information you have. Again, for the listeners, go to Sovereign Citizenship Net. You click on the banner on Informed Radio. You want to tell us again some of the sites or anything you want to plug?
Well, yeah, what I suggest is you go to the sovereigncitizenship.net site, poke around there, have some fun with that place, and then make sure you go over to sovereigntypress.net, sovereignty-net, and subscribe to our newsletter so that we can be in touch with you, and you'll be in touch with the news and us, and find out what our latest shindig is, what we're doing. Sometimes we put on events. We put on a music festival in the summer called the American Family Reunion around July 4th. That'll be in upstate New York.
Wow.
So if anybody wants to come to that music festival, start planning on it now, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Maybe I'll try to come out there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. No, for real. It's going to be a nice big shindig. We'll have a lot of good friends and family and people and bands and, souvenirs and the whole music festival.
Wow.
American Family Reunion.
Yeah, well, nice to be part of the family, right?
Yeah, welcome home, man. I mean, for real. So.
Well, I appreciate this. I appreciate the interview, everything. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it too.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how many? Is he out?
No, he's still here.
Okay.
No.
How many lawyers? I mean, is it possible to find lawyers that aren't bar associated now? And are there lawyers out there?
That's an oxymoron, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to find lawyers and attorneys that are sympathetic to this mind frame?
There are, but their hands are tied because they have to be loyal to the court.
Right.
But there's these paralegal people that work for the lawyers that are authorized, that if you have a lawyer that's on board, you can have a counsel, a paralegal that doesn't actually, or you can sit counsel with you as you're handling your case sui juris.
Wow.
That's the way to go about it.
Wow. You've answered every question. Amazing job you've done. So much information, JM. Wow.
Yeah, well, like I said, tune in with our program on site, and then we have more ways to answer your questions as you progress through you'll explore our site, you'll learn more, and along the way we'll make more resources accessible to you, because it's there's so much information, but it'd be like drinking from a fire hose. You got to start with a little coffee straw. And make sure that it's, you got a little flow going, and then you can start with another bigger straw.
Wow.
What about allodial titles? Is that something you're familiar with?
Yeah, allodial title of the land. You got to go back to the original land patent.
Okay.
And take assignment for it.
And you buy it, essentially, or?
Oh, you take assignment for it. It's not been assigned. Everything's in probate.
Okay. So then what, when you
get everything, you gotta claim it.
When you claim your allodial title, do you still have to pay property taxes and all that?
What I understand, no. I haven't really gone there because I'm still doing my service. So I don't need land yet. I will eventually,
I mean, this is a way that we could sell this whole sovereignty movement to people, that, like, people who own houses, you go up to them and say, hey, you want to never pay property taxes ever again?
Well,
why don't you declare your
that's
sovereignty?
not really that. People could, and people been trying to. But that's what's pissing off all the lawyers.
We gotta
everything is because they're trying to make it look like, oh, you can get out.
Right, but that's what we need. We need to get out.
Oh, you still there? We're not hearing you.
I mean, ultimately, this is like an Achilles heel for the New World Order.
You're getting all broken up, Jam. We missed a bunch of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're saying don't go delinquent with your estate.
Okay.
You know, be responsible with, like, don't try to get out of the things that you started necessarily. Just try to get them balanced.
Okay. But if you pay your taxes, doesn't that show to them that you're under their jurisdiction? So in order to maintain your jurisdiction, you would have to not pay.
All right, your store, your birth certificate, the store, man, not like your house, but your store. Okay, the store is under their jurisdiction because the store is changing banknotes, and the banknotes are their property.
Right, we back up the banknotes.
But you're trading chickens, okay, for coffee beans. It ain't their business because you're not doing it through your store. You're doing it over the backyard fence.
Right.
So that's a private interaction that doesn't have to do with banknotes.
So then we shouldn't. So then we shouldn't be paying taxes when we buy things from other people. Like if if I buy from somebody else in my state or town, they don't have the jurisdiction to tax me. Is that correct? Or the state does, but not the federal government.
Right, that's under the table, man. That's the way it's always been. I mean, that's why we call it under the table, man. It's
exactly. That's the way to do it.
Stop the books.
Just getting back into a barter system.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like barter, but barter's taxable because of the criminal cartel that has hijacked our government.
I don't understand who owns the English language, people. I think there's a copyrighted version of the English language, right? That's defined by like Webster's. Okay. If you're using that language that's owned by the England, then you're all confused. You need to get with the American English and know what's really what words are really coming out your mouth, because when you speak these words have power, and you don't even know the power that you're saying. You say things like birth, and you say things like the United States, United States citizen. You have no idea what you're to your own psyche and what you're iterating in the psyche of others. So it really has a lot to do with like these things that we're saying coming out of our mouth. We're trying to analyze things with broken language. We need to analyze the language itself first, and what we're actually saying, so that we got clarity rather than standing under somebody else's authority.
Yes.
Right.
Understanding. Yeah. Wow. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I think we're out of questions. We should probably, you know, you handled that real good. You answered everything. I mean, wow.
Can I jump in with the question?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask, that was an incredible presentation.
This is Truth War.
And like one of the first things you mentioned just, you know, helped encapsulate a lot of the research I've been doing, that sovereignty is equal to nobility, which is equal to, well, nobility. Sovereignty is equal to nobility.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, which is anti-piracy. Now, right there, you know, I realize now that you know, somehow we're going in the right direction. You know, that just opens a path and makes it all downhill for us, as far as I'm concerned.
Good.
So the question, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, fine.
Okay, I wanted to ask what you think about using a notary public, and what you think about Robert Menard's work.
Robert Menard.
There's so many people that are doing the common law information that their works come across my desk. I'm familiar with his name. I think he's one of the elders in this. And of course, you know, the notary is a very, very important agent of the court. There's a notary that's inside their court system that they can recognize, and then we can establish common law notaries locally that are local state notaries with it, nation state notaries. Now, that's another thing I wanted to share again, is we have nation states in this country now, and we want to hook you up with your nation state people. I mean, there really are like the nation state of New York that we established here, and this all around the nation state of Pennsylvania, and that this is an authoritative common law jurisdiction that's internationally established. So that you can establish a nation state that has an international
nation state of Connecticut
outside of the state.
Yeah.
I think we've got 4 nation states on board now.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure the number last count, but
that's more than we had before. That's all I know.
and it's one union of people. It's not an agency. It's a community of people across this country that are organized enough to have the constitutions together and the unity agreement together, and have that file in for the whole world to be on notice. And the military can appreciate this and can come under the people's jurisdiction. So yeah, that's the notary side of things. The notary is an officer of the court, very, very important for keeping records. Any other questions? Anybody out there?
Hey, listen, if anybody wants to chime in, give us a call, 860-866-4344. If you have any questions for JM.
Was that all you had, Truth War?
No, there's just too many swimming around in my head to be able to get one out.
Like, I'm available. You can come and like, you know, come online. Follow the bread. Go to our southpress.net. Follow the breadcrumbs. Find a contact email for me. I'm not going to just blast it out of the internet. Actually, I could. If you send one to, you can send an email question to Title IV Flag at yahoo.com for now. I don't even like yahoo.com. Let me see if I could give you a different email address. You do Godsent at flag-book.com. GODCNT at flag-book.com. Okay. You send me a question, and I'll try to shoot it back to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to hook up with something there because I need to do a few things administration-wise, and I'm sick and tired of signing over my name and submitting application for registration. I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Yeah, it all just depends on what you do. Yeah, there's a lot of alternatives that we can do to get by and disengage from our dependencies on you know, state-related benefits. There's people that can help. That's what I'm trying to say, Dan. God's people alive and breathing, and we're here to help.
Yeah, we need people around us, you know, rather than being able to contact. We need people all around us that are willing to help.
That's right. That's right. And what we've done is because I've been able to establish little pockets and networks of people all over the place myself, I've become good at it, and I'm showing people how to establish little pockets and networks of people all over the place. So where you are, if you get my training package, or then you are in, and you can build your community right there and train people right there. You can train your people on right where you're at, and then you have a team.
And again, I just want to confirm that all of these services that you offer are trans-border, because I'm actually Canadian.
Yeah, for the most part. And we have a lot of information coming from Canada right now, from the Canadian common law people that are kicking butt up there.
Yeah, I got to find somewhere around me, because as far as I'm in Winnipeg. Lonely. Yeah, there's no other metropolis within 500 miles in any direction of us.
Like I say, get on our network. We have social networks and things like that where you can find people that, like, you put it out there. Yeah. Oh, I guess Neil Young's from Winnipeg. Yeah, get on our network and poke around. Ask me some questions, and I could put the word out. We could find some people in your neighborhood. We got people from all over the place, and
yeah,
it's constantly growing too. It's just been a big surprise at how everybody is just really into this right now. And connecting with sovereigns is different than connecting with, like, you know, Joe Loser on you know, like, Lost Space. You know, it's just, you're gonna get a much more satisfying experience when you're connecting with sovereigns, because they're using their intelligence and thinking about things and making things happen.
Yeah, everybody on this network, I believe, has acted as a sovereign. Most of us probably don't realize it.
Yeah.
The fact is, it was wonderful the way you answered the question, how long does it take to become a sovereign? It takes no time at all, because you already are a sovereign. All you have to do is start recognizing it and learning what your rights are. That's what I've been parroting for a year or so.
Yeah. So, like, when you hear propaganda that says, oh, sovereign citizens are the problem, it's like, look, dude, that would mean everybody in America is the problem. because everybody American is actually
sovereign
a sovereign citizen. They just haven't like realized that that's what they are. And when I say citizen, there's people tell me it's an oxymoron. You're a citizen because citizens are subject. I'm like, subject to what? I am a prince of King Yahshua, King of Kings, and I am his subject, a citizen of his kingdom. My authority, my anointing and my authority comes from him, and I am his subject. But I'm sovereign in this world.
I mean, you read the comments on these blogs and stuff to some of the videos that you post, and I mean, the comments are so negative. Like, it's become alien, this idea of you know, us holding the power and us being truly sovereign, even though this nation was founded on these ideals. And now you look at the majority of the comments are negative towards you know, towards people having, you know, their own sovereignty.
This collective consciousness is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Like, the collective consciousness people believe, like, okay, well, what's yours is mine, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too. They don't want you to have boundaries. They don't want you to have borders. They don't want you to protect your furnishings and your fine arts and your daughters. Because they're pirates.
They want it all.
They don't want you to have boundaries. This is the whole deal. That your eyelids are boundaries, you know, between the public and private sector. They don't want you to have eyelids.
That's why there's so much mind control on television and everything else, and everything is all programmed.
Right, because it's there to push all the way into like the bottom of your soul, so that you don't even have eyelids and you can't close it out, so that you actually have given yourself and completely belong to this pagan system.
Yeah, to where most people now are so like stuck on the system that, you know, even if you gave them this option, they would probably feel like they can't without the system giving them food stamps or whatever else.
Well, no, that's not. You know what? Like the people that are coming to us like have enough sense, and the way we're presenting it is like so entertaining that they just can't help it. They're just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm having so much fun being part of the Sovereign Family Network and tuning in with the real American vacation. Okay, we're talking about like they don't want the American college students going to Grateful Dead shows on their summer vacation because they have a good time. This is exactly what this is about. It goes back to the fucking war on drugs. Pardon my language. And Nancy Reagan trying to shut down the Grateful Dead family. Trying to shut down the American college kids from going on vacation and going to concerts all summer.
Hey, you know,
we can afford it.
You know, it's funny that you say that, JM, but, you know, when you get down to it, it goes back to this criminal government because, you know, the CIA gave Ken Kesey all the acid to take around to all the college campuses in 1965.
Do you know why?
Yes, but...
Okay.
Go ahead if you like. I mean, you want to expand.
It obviously backfired on them. They didn't realize
it certainly did.
Collective consciousness that was there and realized divinity. But yeah, they when they did the experiments before, they found out that it made people lethargic and unambitious.
Right, but they didn't realize that it had the opposite effect.
There were so many kids. There were so many offspring of the baby boomers that survived World War II. That they had to, they dumped all this on them to try and neutralize them and slow the competition for the planet's resources.
Wow. Yeah.
Very great analogy.
Slow down
exactly.
the competition for the planet's resources, so everybody chilled out and went Zen for a while. But they didn't realize that that was actually what God wanted people to do, was to chill out and go Zen for a while. And then realized that the pranksters just were a collective consciousness that all realized that they were going to grow up and actually have control of the country.
Yeah. Right, the merry pranksters, the whole thing, but the whole idea of utilizing, you know, like the war on drugs, like that's what we were starting from. It's like our government created the war on drugs. The CIA brings in the drugs. People have died exposing this, like Gary Webb, who obviously, you know, shot himself in the head twice, you know, committed suicide. You know, things like this, really corrupt things in our and the war on drugs is a fraud. Marijuana, as we all know, has medicinal value. It's finally at least hitting the mainstream, the controlled mainstream garbage media. But at least we know that walnuts are going to be a drug, and Codex alimentarius is going to keep coming down. These succubuses are
I don't know about. I don't think those things are going to keep coming down. I don't know. I think things are getting shut down this year. I'm pretty sure, based on all the news that I get. No, it's already done. We've already done the nation-states agreement. There's no longer like the United States of America Corporation. It may no longer exist after this year.
That's what I'm hearing.
That much, because we've got the United Nations of America, the nation states of America now.
Well, you got the end charter. The Federal Reserve Charter ends on the 21st of December, so it might be. You might be right. I mean, you know, there's a lot. Well, there are a lot of indications that that could be the case, and God knows what happens after that.
Being in line, being in your integrity, in harmony with natural law means we don't have to worry. Trust in God, because He really does have our back. And if we just be where we're supposed to be and be doing the service we're supposed to be doing, using our talents in the Lord's service, it's gonna be right. We just do the right thing at the time of our calling, whenever it is.
Well, let's hope everyone does the right thing at the time of the calling.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, other question?
Yeah, no. Again, you know, you've done great answering everything. We really appreciate this a lot, and you know, you call in anytime you want. I'm going to stay in touch with you, and I'm going to get the book tomorrow. Thanks again, JM.
Again, it's sovereign-citizenship.net. It's the link, right? The links are on the informedradio.com website.
Cool.
Yep.
Right on. Well, it's been great, you guys. Give me a call. Let me know if you want to have me back on the show. Round of questions, whatever it is. I'm
absolutely, and keep us in your feed of information, and we'll spread it as well. You know, again, we are a news organization as well.
Yeah. So say that thing one more time. That
Sovereignty Press.
Yeah.
Sovereignty-press.net.
Yeah.
Sovereignty
definitely.
Press.
I'll be looking for that.
Sovereignty.press.net.
Sign up for our newsletter so you're in the news stream.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks a lot, JM.
God bless
America. God bless the world. Peace on earth. And all you crazy weapon people, man, put that stuff away and get a guitar and an amplifier. It'll sound better.
You bet.
Oh man.
Right? You make a band. Like put all your like hawk your weapons and make a band. Right?
As a musician,
God bless you guys.
God bless you guys. I take that to heart as a musician myself. So yes, peace, love, and music is the answer. We just got to keep it together. Thank you for joining us, JM. Pleasure.
All right, pleasure.
Okay. Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah. Wow. So we got like 20 minutes.
Yeah, just to
you guys,
shake it out a little bit.
Have you heard of this prisoner-backed security thing?
No.
Where they're actually using prisoners as collateral for dead instruments. Where they're packaging them
because they know there's going to be X amount. They're quantifying them because of the
and then they enter
corporate prison system, right?
Yeah, just like you know, the mortgages, how they were packaging the mortgages and entering them onto the stock market and everything, and using them as you know, dead instruments. They're starting to do that with prisoners too. It was something I found out, which is just crazy.
It's insane, but because it is big business, and this is what they're doing. So what they have is you've got a continuous privatization. Florida's doing it now. They're trying to do it in Ohio. Anita Whitney talked about this yesterday on the air. That they're trying to continue this privatization of prison systems. We know of the corruption that happened in Philadelphia with the judge that was paid $2 million to keep the juvenile prison that was in his district fully staffed with inmates. So people that aren't missing curfews were doing, like, you know, 6 months in juvenile hall. This type of stuff is continuing, and this is what they're doing. The FEMA camps, it's all interrelated, and now they're actually knowing that there's going to be a large population of prisoners. Now, it just frightens me to think about those will be these people that could be put into these FEMA camps now. Us.
Yeah, because the FBI is saying...
And now they'll be able to sell the debt on this to the derivative debt.
Right,
it's
so
just,
win-win-win.
you know, I can't even believe how insidious it just keeps getting. It just, and it is. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's so in your face.
I'm surprised we haven't done news in a couple of weeks because we've had some amazing guests. Yeah. But I have been, of course, keeping up with it, and that was just unbelievable. But again, they're doing the same thing with fluoridation and water. Communities that are now getting it out, the federal government's coming in and trying to force the community to put it in.
Right.
That's how criminal these people are.
Without jurisdiction.
Without jurisdiction, of course, yeah.
And nobody stands up to them because the courts are all rigged.
Yeah, it's terrible. You were saying you get something like...
Oh no, I'm just still stuck.
You're
like,
still
thinking
stuck
about all
the
this
sovereign.
stuff. The sovereign.
I know, yeah, it's amazing. I know you're still on that, so we can do that. I just couldn't believe, you mentioned that. Yeah. That's a big current event, and there's a lot, and but yeah, let's wrap up our thoughts on this for now.
Because this is your first time. Really.
Wow, again, a lot to look into. A lot of those. Again, I do study, different laws that are passed and things like that. So some of those codes, the UCC code, I must say I've never actually looked at it. Mm. So I'm surprised I actually haven't, because it's the Universal Code of Trade, Commerce, which is the way. That's why you have those little barcodes, which is the little again, this whole thing of being eventually RFID chipped and everything being able to be read. Mm. It's all part of this whole system. So if you ask me, yeah. Now you identifying the sovereign nation or the sovereign citizens being a sovereign to get out of this system. Mm-hmm. That this corporation that we are a corporation made on paper, a straw man made on paper by the government. Mm-hmm. And then that we're a vessel which has assets in it that we can tap by taking our sovereignty.
Yeah.
That is what I got from it. And I'm saying, well, who the hell wouldn't want that?
Yeah. That's obviously why there's such that bad spin on it.
Because tax money back.
We'll get our tax money back that they've stolen. They technically, that's what it is. So, you got to look at it and say, hey, how can we use this? Again, we have a lot of people like Roger Landry and the We the People Network and others that have lawyers and other people that are working on ways using the grand jury, like with the hiddenfourthbranch.com, to legally...
and what he said,
and
the
what he said.
40 states,
right.
That's like such big news to me.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
So we can get these we can get these legal ways, and using the grand jury to force issues, using jurisdiction, these other things that we can use to go the nonviolent real way of change. Now, obviously, they're going to hit us with everything they can. They're gonna, we're this, that, and the other thing, and but if the people start realizing that they have this power, mm-hmm. And wonder why it's so hard for them, then they can just take it back. Maybe there are people that are so into the system that they feel that it's like, I don't know, too dangerous for them to leave because they're worried about getting their $2,000 a month.
Well, that's what I was saying before.
That might come when they're 65 years old.
They're hooked on the system,
and they're afraid.
They're addicted to the system.
They need that,
or they need that, or they need that $2,000, income 20 years from now that they're thinking of. I don't know. Mm. You pull yourself off that system, then yeah, you don't get anything from it, but you regain.
Hey, this is Godsent here.
Yes, Jam.
That's in here. I just want to chime in on that.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier for people to understand, they can have their cake and eat it too. I mean, the store has got the money going on.
Right.
They have to stop calling themselves. You gotta have eyelids. You gotta be able to close your eyelids and have some private time to sit back by the fire and read the paper. And kick your feet up. Some private time that you don't belong to the system, right? The store is what you're using to do the business with. The store keeps the money flowing. You don't have to unplug from anything except from just get some eyelids and have some privacy about your own soul. That's all. It's not about being afraid. Your store keeps doing the business, but you got some privacy to yourself, some peace of mind. That's unplugging from the matrix, man. Close your eyeballs.
Exactly. Amazing. Hey, listen, I don't want to forget to say that we have Outside the Margins with Ronnie Bennick and Chris Honeyfield coming up right after us here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on informedradio.com. And JM, you have any other further comments that you like since you're back on? You might as well we might as well chat a little more. I mean, I was just going over some news.
I played at dinner over here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you chime in anytime, JM. And,
well, I just heard you guys talk. You know,
that's great.
And the whole thing's like, fear is disengagement from your trust in God, is opposed to trust in God. So if we're just afraid and trust the natural order of things, then we don't have to be afraid of having eyelids. Mm-hmm. They want you to be afraid of closing your eyes and having a private soul. Get your eyelids pried open. Remember, like in the Clockwork Orange, where they had in the movie theater, and he had his eyeballs all pried open, and they were shoving all the garbage into his eyeballs, and he was like freaking out. He had his eyeballs pried open with a little eyeball open prior open thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing to people. People are voluntarily holding their eyeballs all pried open, and they have no identity or soul or purpose in serving God. They're this beast in this machine. Got all 100% of their activity is in serving this other lower master.
Absolutely, it's the corporatism.
Great. What's going to happen to them if they continue to serve the master? And they should disengage from that and actually like have some eyelids and some privacy and some personal time, personal space, meditation on who they really are and what they really are and what their real purpose is here in life. Jeez. What about philosophy, people? Seriously.
That's right. That's right. It's true. Everybody's got to really look inside themselves, and I think that's what happens when you awake to this. Because a lot of people obviously are not aware of this. I mean, at all. So it's like talk about trying to wake somebody up.
Well, they were doing it through Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true.
Through the movies, Pranksters got into Hollywood, and they got a hold of film and left traces in the films. And then the Hollywood realized that the pranksters were in Hollywood communicating with people, so they took over Hollywood again. But that was at the same time MTV came out.
That's
so
right.
The people went. Every time the people come up with a successful mode of communication, and then the corporations infiltrate and make a big money offer, and then they start poisoning the waters again. So everybody has.
Yeah, it's like an endless cycle of that.
It was really good. And Murdoch bought. Yeah, but it's not endless. It's really ongoing for a long list of stuff, but it's not endless. We're gonna this. Things are changed now. We actually have control of our own social networks and things right now. So we can bring people in an environment where their mind is not being polluted by like garbage, and they can actually learn something. We're actually developing a sovereign university right now that people will be able to use shortly. That's why I say get on our mailing list, because we've got things going on in the background that I'm not announcing yet, but
we're there
for people's learning and communication.
That's great. Well, we're there for that. Absolutely.
That'd be some lawyers that come out of that school.
Absolutely. Yeah, get some lawyers out of that school. That'd be like wild. Amazing.
No, lawyers. It'll be actual people.
Well, the idea of the using the law, using the sovereign law, the law of the.
Yeah, I'd like to hire you as my lawyer, JM.
I don't do commerce. But you can send me an email, and I will send you a suggestion. Or I've been building a nice frequently asked questions database, because I have so many frequently asked questions and so many answers that I'm going to put them in there eventually. It all takes a little bit of time, but we're pretty much going to be releasing things like almost every 2 weeks here on out, features.
That's great.
Well, we got 5 minutes left. Let me ask you one more question then. What is affidavit of truth? What is that exactly? When they say affidavit of truth,
well, an affidavit of truth is going to say the truth, right? Depending on what truth you're saying. An affidavit of truth can have details about your status, as what status you're claiming. If you're claiming religious freedom, man on the land, or sovereign, or however it is that you're claiming it, there's your affidavit of truth, and you're making that for the record of the court, so that the court can, so that the corporate body has a piece of paper noticing them that they're not dealing with a corporation. They're dealing with a living person who's divinely ordained and is living, has sovereign immunity.
Okay, thank you.
That's great.
How is that generally accepted? Like when people, you give the affidavit of truth, you can give it to a police officer when you get pulled over? Is that correct?
I don't do that.
I've seen people do that though, I think, on YouTube.
Well, that doesn't really work too good. I mean, I've heard of people doing it too. I'd give them a business card with my fee schedule on it. and I tell them, well, I have the right to remain silent. Yes? Any questions? And then we go from there. And if they want to answer, if they want to ask questions, I make sure that they understand that my fees are $15,000 per question. And if they need me to do an overnight investigation.
Yeah, how has that worked? I saw you. I saw that in a video.
Crazy.
Have you ever actually gotten paid for the questions?
Well, you know, it's not about getting paid. It's about actually having the upper hand.
Right.
And you know, I could make a career out of billing cops. Okay, I don't want to make a career out of billing cops. I could make a business that bills cops, and then the business can have a career of billing cops. That may be somewhere along the way, but right now I'm just into, like, you know, getting all the facts in order so that I have a nice piece of literary work that's of my own creative efforts, and I can share that with the people who are interested in truth and knowledge. Kind of like that, you know. Yes, eventually, maybe soon, I might actually start moving into the collections, activities or collections. But right now, I'm still I'm content financially right now. But I may have to do it to prove a point here and there.
Well, that's what we all are trying to do. We're trying to prove a point. That's right.
But,
well, listen, thank you.
I'm not motivated to do that, you know. Even though I'm sure that would really be a good lever. There's a lot of leverage in that.
Right.
Just really going that. I want them to acknowledge the living being. Which that's what they're trying not to do. Is they're trying not to acknowledge the living being.
Yeah, it's a
oh, that
demonstration
human being
of
doesn't
power.
exist. We still have jurisdiction over the body and the estate. No, that's not true. We have ways to prove otherwise.
Right. Amazing stuff. Everybody get the books. Go on the courses. Go to, you know, Restore the Republic. Be sovereign.
Join the family.
Join the family. Go to sovereign-citizenship.net and Sovereignty Press and Books. Right.
Sovereignty.
Yeah, it's
Press.net.
sovereignty-press.net for our newsletters.
Excellent. Okay, thanks again. We have Ronnie Bennett coming up next on Outside the Margins, and I just want to give a thanks out to Harry Link and Truth Video Broadcasting Network, who are streaming us live as well. Also on UnitedTruthSeekers.com and DeathToTheNewWorldOrder.com. Thanks out to Pam Suggs at UnitedTruthSeekers.com and Roger Landry of the We the People Network. Thanks you, Roger, for again spreading our show on a weekly basis.
Bobby K.
And again, Bobby K is coming up from Project Freedom. Bobby K is also streaming us at Project Freedom, and he does a show as well. I think it's at 4 o'clock on Fridays. He does a show on Informed Radio. And just wanted to thank everybody and thank Truth War for all your work behind the scenes and making this happen. This is a big part of the story.
I want to thank Jessie.
And we want to thank Jessie
William Wallace.
Jessie William Wallace. Jessie Wallace of We Are Change Connecticut. Where are you out of? In which town?
Bristol.
Out of Bristol. Yeah. Okay, he's a local guy. We're all close here. And listening in the wings over here is Dave St. John from Azure Soul. And we will be back again next week, Friday, with a special guest that we'll keep under wraps for now until then. Chat with you. God bless you. Have a great week. And God bless America. Truth War, take us out.
And thank you, Howard.
Oh, thank you, Ronnie. And have a great, great show.
Yeah, we sure will. Thank you.
All right.
I finally got an answer on the allure.
I don't know. Was he like? I guess he didn't have the music cued. You have the music cued there. I ended too soon. Okay, we could still talk until the music starts. Okay, is it going?
There you go.
All right.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been everything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality. Neon lights, Nobel Prize, when a million speaks, the reflection lies. You won't have to follow me. Only you can set me free. All things you need to be. I'm the smiling face on your TV. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. I exploit you, still you love me. I tell you one and one makes three. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Joseph Stalin and Gandhi. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality.